Alright, so I'm just going to make a quick little comparison video here on a sling I found on Amazon, which is essentially the Ferro Concepts Slingster knockoff. And it's made by Krydex. So I've been running the Ferro Concepts Slingsters for a while. The standard ones, the naked Slingsters without the pad, and they're great slings. It is my favorite sling. And I normally don't buy, knockoff gear or cheap shit like that. But if I can save a little bit of money, you got to put a sling on every rifle, and a $50, $60 sling or even higher can add up. So on some of the rifles I don't run as hard or as much, I looked for an alternative and I found this one. So the Krydex sling, which is almost a 1-for-1 copy of the Slingster, was like 18 bucks on Amazon. And I got the FDE one, or Coyote, to match the actual Slingster to do a comparison for myself. And what I found so far is it's pretty decent for the money. So just some kind of things I've noticed is the padding is essentially the same. All the dimensions are the same. The tri-glides are essentially the same. Now, I don't know if the knockoff version, are cheaper produced. I don't know if they'll hold up as well as the actual Ferros, but, they seem to be about the same. So, one of the other bigger differences is the actual webbing on the Ferro Concepts is a little bit softer. I mean, it's not drastic, but the Krydex knockoff is a little rougher and actually a little bit thicker or denser, if you will. When I first got my first Ferro sling, I actually thought they were kind of chintzy, with the 1-inch webbing and just the stitching, but they're great. They hold up great. So, another difference is the actual slider portion. This is the Ferro. This is steel for the adjustment slider. It's just a steel kind of ring, and the knockoff uses like essentially a tri-glide body. So we'll see how well that holds up. Then my bitch fell over. Don't go anywhere. The adjusters are essentially the same, except obviously the Ferro comes with their new pull tab, which is awesome. But it's essentially the same mechanism, where the knockoff came with like a little pull tab. I just kind of rigged up a quick one, a little bit more sturdy. But if you know how the Slingsters work, it's just got that kind of rough surface in there, and you just pull tab it to open or close it. So it's essentially the same mechanism. The Ferro is painted FDE, looks a little bit nicer. This one has like a stop on it that will kind of limit travel, whereas the Ferro, you can fold it all the way back. And the Ferro is a little bit beefier on the rough part right there, but essentially the same. And funny thing is, you can actually buy these pull tabs individually from Ferro and put it on this. So I think they're like 12 bucks on the website, so I could take this off or order another one, install it on this to be even closer of a copy. But so far I've been using it for like a month. The slider works just as well. It doesn't get snagged up or anything, and I just have to figure out a better solution for the pull tab. But fuck off, bitch. The Ferro pad is a little bit longer than the knockoff. I don't know if it's just how they cut these pads, but you can see the Ferro's a little bit longer. And I mean, that's pretty much it. The basic setup is the exact same. You can actually take the pads off of these, which in essence is just the naked Slingster. Padding thickness is about the same. Color slightly different, but you know, who cares? And yeah, it came, you know, plenty long enough to adjust and cut down. But you know, I don't really like hawking, you know, cheap, shitty gear. And I'm not telling you go out and buy the knockoff stuff, because I don't even think that's fair to the companies. You know, obviously they ripped off their idea. And if you have the money, buy Ferro Concepts. It's a better sling. It'll last longer. And it's just a slightly better product, I think. And these run about, I think, $60, give or take. And then the naked ones without the pad, I think, are like 30 something, 40. This was, like I said, like $18 for the padded version. So I at least wanted to buy one, give it a try, and you know, it's going on. I've been running this on like a URGI clone, so it's not super heavy. This one lives on my Scar 17. It's been great, but even like the stitching, you can tell the Ferro Concept stitching is a little bit cleaner, and just looks a little nicer. Now, you know, it is only like one, you know, line of stitching, but I've never had one break or come apart or anything. I put tape on there so I don't scratch my baby Scar. But, you know, your mileage may vary. I think that they're decent enough clone that it's worth, you know, picking one up at least. I'm not saying this is gonna go to war, it's your battle sling, you know, and all that bullshit. But, you know, I definitely think it's good enough if you're into, like, you know, airsoft or all that bullshit. But, I mean, I've been running this on a rifle, doing drills, dry fire drills, LARPing in the basement. You know, that URGI I built like a month or so ago. But, yeah, I think for rifles that I don't, you know, regulate to duty use and all that bullshit, you know, I think it's a decent stand-in for a sling for, you know, not so much money. Now, like I said, if you have the money, buy the better sling, support this company. Ferro Concepts is awesome. They make great fucking gear. They're, you know, Slingsters, they're Slicksters, different carriers. All their different gear is top notch. So, you know, buy the good one. However, for you poors or cheap bastards, you know, I'm not going to say it's a piece of shit, because it's not. It's been doing well and holding up to actual use. So, that's what I think about it. And, you know, do as you will. All right.